And this is my second store-bought flyaway. My DJI Phantom 2 Vision. I decided to go fly the little track that goes around the RC airfield. Got about 575 feet out, heard a couple of beeps, and got this nice little still frame, which is the only telemetry I have of it. Stopped hearing it. I was hoping it went down. I grabbed my Y6, which has the stabilized camera underneath it, had it with me, was planning to do some flying with that later. You can see here it's starting to rain, so I'm kind of in a hurry. I threw the goggles on and off we went. I've sped this up here so you can see I'm looking down. This grass is very tall. If you go walking around out there, you really can't see anything. This video, I left the fisheye in so I wouldn't lose anything, because it trims a little off the edges, and I wanted to have maximum chance of finding the bird. Looking through the goggles, of course I didn't have this resolution, and these darn little cacti, you'll see here in a second, they really, particularly through the goggles, they really look like you've got a whole patch of DJI Phantom drones out there. Like I say here, I flew down to check that one out. I was just sure that was it. So it was apparent that what I was going to have to do was analyze the video after the fact. And I didn't have a lot of spare batteries, didn't have the right cables, so I'm having to load them into my iPhone. But I was able to go get some more batteries and cables, as you'll see here in a moment. Turned out to have a pretty good flight with the goggles. One thing you got to know about the Y6, it's got the APM controller. I'm flying it in loiter mode, where it flies pretty much like the DJI does. You know, it'll just stay put unless you tell it to do something, and then you're just giving it suggestions. Go this way, climb, descend. You're not really flying it. Now, one of the things on the APM, when you pull that throttle all the way down when you're in loiter mode, it just means descend very quickly. So if you actually want to land, you'll see here, yeah, that was me putting my glasses on here. I'm going to land it looking at the bird directly. Had the glasses in the trunk. Took the goggles off, put the glasses on. Did not take the bird out of loiter, did not put it in stabilized, so I wasn't really flying it, and so I just flew it into the ground under loiter, and it did not kill the props. The ground did. And there's the pattern. As you can see, I didn't really cover as much ground as it looked like I was doing, and she wound up on the bench. I thought I just needed some props, but no, I tore up a motor. So I switched to the Discovery, TBS Discovery, and came back out. Now, I waited for some rain to subside. You see here the little ground station I set up when the rain slowed down a little bit. Moved it behind the car to avoid being eaten by the ants, and took off with the Discovery. This is a really nicely built bird. As you'll see here in a bit, it's very stout, built by a friend of mine from work. He sold it to a guy, and that guy sold it to me. The GoPro here, I just have mounted on it and aimed down. I have controls where I can switch between the onboard camera and the GoPro on the Y6, so I can look and see what's happening in real time. Here I can't see what the GoPro footage is, so I'm just kind of using my memory of what I was getting from the Y6 and flying a pattern. Not flying with goggles here, I'm flying with a monitor, because I'm not trying to look for it in real time. I have sped it up here because it's kind of tedious to watch 15 minutes of this. If any of you spot a DJI Phantom in here, leave me a note and see if it's not one of the cacti that I've already investigated. I've also found lots of cardboard boxes that were out there when I went traipsing back looking for things that looked like they could be it. Here in a bit, I decided to just really pick up some altitude. Figured that getting higher would help. And it does cover more ground, but it's also harder to see anything in particular. And of course the Discovery doesn't mind the high wind. It's not real high actually. and it doesn't mind the rain. It's just doing pretty well. Now, the loiter mode on the vector controller on the Discovery actually will kill all the power, which is why you saw that drop. When I pulled it all the way down, it started free falling briefly. I did have the presence of mind here to put it in stabilize before landing. You'll see here that little transition when it drops and no longer trying to hold altitude, and I grab control. And alright, looks good except for this. Now I think what happened here in this crash was that I loosened one or both of the props that are turning in the direction that it's trying to unscrew while it's flying. They have nice Grockner hubs on there, but you got to check the tightness even with those. I had one that was kind of loose. I tightened it hand tight, didn't have tools. Pilot error number 4. Don't fly it if you don't have the right stuff. As you see the rippling here in the video, if I could have seen that, which I couldn't, I wasn't seeing that from the onboard, but if I'd have seen that rippling, I would have noticed that something was wrong. And as you can see here, those 2 props stopped. She spirals down because there's no counter rotation, keeping it from spinning. She drops 200 feet like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon. Just goes thud. I got several enunciations of high vibration and stuff after the crash. Got GPS failed sometime before it started the free fall. That was interesting. I'm not sure whether the mast shook loose or something. I really didn't check. Fortunately, it was not only still trying to fly for a bit, but the video never died, so I went out looking for it, carrying the highly directional antenna. And you see here, I walked right past it, saw my feet, saw my butt, turned around, went, there's the bird. Of course, I had lat lawn, so she wasn't going to get lost as soon as I realized I still had that signal. So basically, it was like an H2S incident. The 2 rescuers wound up going down too. Happily, this was one new prop, tightened some screws. There's the pattern for those 2 flights, and still no Phantom.